Good evening. Welcome to the latest live edition of Last Bell Boxing, proudly sponsored by LW Liftings and SC Travel. Joined by regulars Darren Aston. How are you, pal?
I'm good, mate. Thanks. Great to be on.
And back for a second week. We've got Chris from Boxing Bros UK. How are you, mate?
I'm all right, pal. I'm all right.
Jolly good. Right. I know that there's a couple more boys who are going to be joining us shortly, but we'll crack on. So first and foremost, as you can see on the bottom of the screen there, we're going to do a little bit of a reaction to last weekend's card down at the O2. As Derek Chisora said, it's his retirement show at the O2. He's not retiring just yet, though. And we'll come on to that fight very shortly. But we'll start with the rising star in heavyweight boxing, Moses Italma. He went in with what last week we thought would be his trickiest opponent in Marius Vac. Chris, I'll come to you first. Have we learnt anything new from Moses in this fight?
Yeah, no. Obviously, it blew him away quite quick, but the manner he did it, like he didn't just steamroll him. Like he was setting up. He was working off what Wack was throwing back, working his jab, setting things up, and stopped him obviously. And he did, and he's got power. He's got really fast hands, and he's got power because he blew over a guy that's not been knocked out like down in years, really. So good performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Darren, there's some names on Marius Vac's record that haven't stopped him. Dillian White has one.
Yeah.
Fraser
Huey
Clark.
Fury's another. Fraser Clark. There's a few there that haven't stopped him. Now, we are talking about a very old Marius Vac that let's have it right, didn't land a punch in those two rounds. So we can't take too much from that. That being said, Moses Italma looked really, really good with what he did in the time he did it. So, what do we do next with him, Darren? Who would you put him in with next? He needs a proper test, right? He needs a chin check.
Yeah, he does. I mean, you speak about the Dillian White fight there against Marius Vac. Marius Vac actually gave Dillian White a very good fight. It wasn't a sort of like walkover for Dillian White. He actually, I mean, it wasn't too long ago as well. Like you say, Marius Vac's 44 now, but I actually thought Moses Italma would get a few more rounds in than what he actually did. Superb performance. I think you've got to like, I mean, some people would probably say step him up quicker now, but maybe do you still go like sort of like the winner of Sol Dacres, Adelaide to keep it sort of like at that level for a little bit longer? I don't know. Maybe Dacres or someone will probably give him the more rounds because he's a bit more slick. He can move around the ring. He's younger. He's fresher. But what I mean, he's younger and fresher than sort of like a Marius Vac. So do you keep it sort of at that level for a little bit? I wouldn't go too mad with him just yet. So I would probably like say like a Sol Dacres, David Adelaide, winner of that, something like that, and then move him on from that. Get a few more rounds probably in.
I agree with you, mate. I'd go Solomon Dacres next. I think Moses blows him away though. I'm not impressed with Dacres. I said this on last week's show. I haven't thought much to him in his last couple of performances. So yeah, why not? Or Johnny Fisher even. I mean that's a right shooter. So let's see what happens. Okay, moving on. I want to try and. Sorry, go on, Chris.
I was going to say, like, I really, really rate Moses Italma. I think that he should fight for a British title. Like next, I think those guys wouldn't challenge him. I think he beat any of them guys easily. So I think Fraser Clark or Fabio Wardley, I think he should. I think he's a special talent, and he really needs a challenge to get the best out of him. I don't think he should fight Dacres and all them. I think he should go straight for the Clark fight or Fabio Wardley. That's my thoughts anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, I don't disagree to certain parts of that, mate. I don't disagree to certain parts of that. What I would say though is he's only 19? you've got to be a little bit careful. You've got to be a little bit careful with how quickly you push someone with the lack of professional experience that he's got, because he could become unstuck. Because you know full well that a Wardley or a Fraser Clark, they're going to drag him late. They're going to do everything to drag him late. If they can suck up those first few rounds and they take him late, that's an experience in an area that he's not been in yet.
Yeah, true. But I just think that.
Okay, right.
Yeah, go on.
No, go on. Sorry, carry on.
I just think like at that level, I think they're the only guys that can take him rounds right now. Anyone below that, like Dakers, Fisher, Adelaide, I don't think they're going to take him rounds right now.
I get your point, mate. Very possibly right. Bear with me, guys, with my internet. I'm having a few little issues here, but we'll crack on as much as we can. Okay, moving swiftly on, guys. I want to try and get through this card fairly quickly so we can get some more guests on. Ryan Garner beat Archie Sharp on points. 97-93 on two of the judges' cards and 98-92 on the other one. Chris, did you see this full fight?
Do you know what? I watched bits of it. I can't, because I was having problems with my Fire Stick at this point, and it didn't seem like such a great fight that I need to really watch it back, to be honest. So what I got the gist of it is Archie Sharp was getting that off, and then he started coming back into it a little bit, but he got fairly beaten.
Darren, what did you see of the fight?
Bit similar. I didn't have problems with my Fire Stick. I was actually out. I was watching the fight out. I was sort of like birthday celebration, so I saw bits of it, and then I watched the highlights after. It's a decent enough fight. Ryan Garner done. I expected Ryan Garner to win. Technically, I think he's very good, and it was a very, very good win for him. Interested to see where he goes next. I mean, I can't remember what the fight he was going to have before when it got postponed. There was a fight before he was going to have when it got postponed. I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, good win from what I've seen. It was a decent enough fight on a very good card, I thought, to be honest.
Proper clash of styles. This, I really enjoyed the fight. I rate Archie Sharp. He's got lots and lots and lots of skill. The problem is he didn't have enough power to keep Garner off. That was the difference in the fight. Because when he was on his toes in the first few rounds, on his toes, he was outboxing Garner and looking really, really good. The problem with that style of boxing is it's very difficult to keep up for a long period of time. And it ended up kind of starting each round in that style, but then having to stand and trade, and that's where Garner took over because he's much more powerful, much more accurate. The right fighter won. I would say, though, what I would say is I'm not sure what levels Garner's got. Because that style that he's got of walking people down and bullying them, that works to a certain level. But when you come up against somebody that can take your power, and then they've also got power and can throw back, that's when it becomes a bit more difficult. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Ryan Garner next. It's going to be really interesting. Yeah. I'm going to be. It's going to be good to see what happens there. Right, moving on, guys, to a great fight. Dennis McCann against Baluta.
Yeah, this is a good one.
So I'll come to you first on this one, Darren. Wow, what can you say? Dennis McCann, outstanding, right?
Absolutely outstanding. I mean, when you look at the first fight, which had ended in a draw when the fight got stopped, I thought the level of improvement from Dennis McCann was superb. He totally worked Baluta out. Nullified anything he could do. So took a few little shots, nullified anything Baluta could do. We know what Baluta does. He walks forward, sort of like the little Derek Chisora walks forward, trying to throw the big bombs. But I actually thought if anyone was going to win the fight by stoppage, it was going to be McCann, and I thought Baluta actually hung in there quite well. But I thought Dennis McCann looked superb in the fight. He boxed brilliantly. Like I said, nullified anything Baluta was trying to do. And I think the way he learned from that first fight was a superb performance.
Chris, it's like night and day. I thought Dennis McCann was good before, but since that first fight with Baluta, since the cut, he's joined up with the Rotunda Gym and Joe McNally, and I don't know what's going on up there in the water, but they've got some outstanding fighters in there at the minute. Joe McNally's done wonders with Dennis McCann. He looks like a completely different fighter.
Yeah, it was a great performance, wasn't it? It was, and it was a really disciplined as well. There was times when he was hurting him to the body, and he could have got greedy and gone in for the kill. But that Baluta is always dangerous because all he does is, like you say, like Derek Chisora does, throws them wild hooks from all different angles as he's coming in. So he didn't like think, right, I can knock him out now and like go for it. He was disciplined when he had him hurt. Step back, did some of his work, like really like disciplined before, like a proper champion performance. Like it was really disciplined. He didn't put a foot wrong. Got caught a few times, but to fight, of course, you're going to get it a few times. It's not going to be perfect, but that was near on perfect performance. Like he did everything right. Didn't get greedy, hurting him to the body, hurting him everywhere. When he was in the pocket, had his hands all in the right places, so he wasn't really getting clipped. He was just getting hit on the arms because that's all Baluta could really get. So it was a great performance and so well improved from last time. Big improvements.
Yeah, I can only echo that. It's a very mature performance from Dennis McCann. Very mature, outstanding at times. He didn't get overexcited when he got Baluta hurt, and he didn't go into his shell when he got clipped himself. Yeah, very, very good performance. On that, he's going a long, long way, right? I know that was for the EBU bantamweight belt. I mean, why not give him a couple more fights at that level and then push him on? He looks ready for me.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
Right, moving on to the headline, guys. I don't know where to start with this. Right, I'm gonna start with you, Chris. Try and break down what you can make of that fight.
Well,
Bizarre.
Firstly, I'd like to say, I think you had a feeling that Chisora might win because you kept saying how confident he was about this fight last week. So I've got to give you your respect for that, mate. Because you was the only one who was saying he really believes he can win. He was the only one saying it. Everyone else was like, nah. But what I think it happened, my opinion is, I think Joe Joyce thought he could steamroll Chisora, and he thought he was going to gas out and he was going to knock him out in the end. So he just kept on doing his usual stupid thing, going forward, not moving his head, not doing it, no lateral movement, throwing that like lazy jab out there. It's not really a jab. He just keeps poking you and then tries a load on you. And while he was doing that, Chisora was bobbing, weaving, doing a rope-a-dope on him, and then having 20-second bursts where he was smacking him up, good style, catching him clean. And then, I don't know, I think Joyce was thinking that he's the juggernaut again, and he can take these punches and he's going to stop him. And all the while, he was losing rounds. Then he was coming into it, getting his confidence back. And then Chisora rolls under a shot, over and right, bang, on the floor, out of nowhere when he was losing a few rounds. And then that's all she wrote, basically. I think he underestimated Chisora, and he was falling in love with his chin again because he wasn't getting knocked out. He was getting caught with his shots, and it paid for him. Yeah, that's my assessment of the fight, anyway.
Thank you for your kind comments at the start. I'll also add on to what you just said to that, and I'll say that I said that Derek Chisora was going to land that big right hand all night long, and that's exactly what he did. Joe Joyce, guys, Joe Joyce, not only has he lost his chin, he's also lost his confidence, because when he's coming forward, he's not coming forward with any aggression. He's a bit what's the word I'm looking for?
Tentative.
Tentative? Is that all right? Is that a word?
Yeah, a bit tentative. Yeah.
He's a little bit. Yeah, tentative. Sorry, he's a little bit scared when he's coming forward. So that jab is not what it used to be. The follow up is not what it used to be, and he's even got less head movement and less footwork than he ever had before. If I was Joe Joyce, and I mean this with all due respect, I'd hang my gloves up, because yes, he might get a few more fights and make a bit more money, but there's absolutely no chance that Joe Joyce is doing anything now other than be a gatekeeper. If he's happy to do that, fine, go ahead and earn your money, Joe. But why put yourself in a position where you're taking massive shots like that clean? Unfortunately, guys, he has no defense. His defense is his head. And I'm not being flippant on that either. It just isn't. It isn't a good watch. It was a very hard fight to watch for me, because these guys, both of these two, at one point or another in their careers, have fought at the highest level. Joe Joyce in the amateurs never quite made it in the pros, but fought at a good level. And Chisora's fought for a world title. So I just, it's hard to watch. It really is. Darren, let's have your opinion on the fight last Saturday night, please.
I actually thought it was a great watch, to be honest. But the reason why it's a great watch is because of Joe Joyce's chin, in all honesty, because he keeps taking them. I don't think his chin's disappeared as such. I thought he actually took some shots absolutely brilliantly. But he's the same old Joe Joyce. He hasn't changed. He hasn't got a plan B. He doesn't know how to change his style. He can't do what Tyson Fury does as a plan A, B, or C. He can't do what other top heavyweights do, like not even world champions. He can't adapt. He don't know how to fight a different way. I actually backed Derek Chisora to stop Joe Joyce, because I thought because of Zhang, what he done to him, I thought his chin might actually go, but props to him. He showed he has got a cranny chin still. Not that Derek Chisora was a monster, absolute monster puncher, but he's still a decent enough puncher. I thought he'd be able to set Joyce out. But he did show a good chin. But I don't know. Like, for me, when I look at Joe Joyce throughout his career, he got away with certain things against the Christian Hammers and the fighters like that. But he's gone up to the Zangs now. I mean, even Josie Parker, taking nothing away from him. Even Daniel Dubois beat him as well. I think with Josie Parker, when he lost to Joe Joyce, he fought the wrong tactics and listened to the hype of Joe Joyce about, he'll steamroll here, he's the juggernaut, he'll take you down, he's got all this energy. And I think he listened to that. I think if that went on now, Josie Parker beats Joe Joyce hands down, because he'll fight the right tactics. But I think Joe Joyce, as he's gone through the levels now, he's just been found out where his level's at. And he's got no plan B, he's got no plan B at all. Just the same old Joe Joyce, no defence, swing the shots. But I do agree a little bit, Andy. I think he's got a little bit less with his output than what he used to, because I think he knows what's coming back at him now. And Zhang done that really to him.
Yeah, those two devastating defeats have put a doubt in his mind, haven't they? He's lost this invincibility, Superman kind of power that he had. And unfortunately, when you lose that, you don't get it back. Okay, I think we've done that to a death now. So, Carl, if you're listening in the background, mate, can we have the second topic, please? Wow.
Cool.
So the Saudis roll into America. What a fantastic card this is. Riyadh season coming from LA. Massive headliner. I think we're going to get some different opinions on this. Well, I hope so anyway. Carl, I don't know if there's anyone waiting in the wings to come into the show, but if there is, can you let them in? Right. Let's start right down the card, boys. There's some great fights. I mean, there's 1, 2, four world title fights on this bill. 3 world title fights. And that's not forgetting Andy Ruiz and Gerald Miller, Jared Anderson, Martin Bacola. So that's where we'll start. Is Andy Ruiz against Big Baby Miller, the man that should never ever be allowed to set foot in a boxing ring again. This guy was rattling when he was preparing for Anthony Joshua. Should never be allowed near a boxing ring again. But he's now had 2 or 3 big shows, 2 or 3 big paydays. Seems to be getting fights left, right, and centre. This is the part of boxing that unfortunately for me, guys, stinks. But anyway,
Sure.
He's on the show, so let's talk about the fight. I personally hope that Andy Ruiz blows him away and takes his head off inside a round. Not sure that's going to happen. But Chris, we'll come to you. Give us your breakdown on this fight.
Well, normally you'd say Andy Ruiz without thinking, because he hasn't got his pharmacy in him. But Andy Ruiz, for me, he's not had a fight in 2 years. And his last 2 fights against an old Ortiz who's been knocked out twice by Wilder, and it was just on the decline. And he's about 100 years old anyway, Luis Ortiz. Let's be real. And I just think his fight before that was against Chris Arreola, and it's just so his last 2 fights were bad performances, and he hasn't had a fight for 2 years. And I don't think, not to criticise, or I don't know his personal life, but from the outside, what we see, it doesn't look like he stays in the gym, stays in shape. He's had a lot of problems. And I just think too inactive. He's not been taking boxing too serious. And I just feel like Big Baby Miller, even though I don't want him to win, he had 2 fights last year, 1 fight this year. And activity is key. They weren't against the best opponents, but he's like match fit. He's been fighting. He fought some journeyman guy. Then he fought Lucas Brown. Then he lost to Dubois. So he's match fit. He's match ready. And I think activity is key. You see it all the time. Like Parker, Joshua. Look how good they've gone from staying active. So I just believe that we don't know what kind of Ruiz is coming in. And if he does win, it's going to be in the later rounds and he knocks the ring rust off. But I just think that because Miller's been active, he's just going to be able to outwork Ruiz and just put the pressure on, and he's going to win, like points win, decision. Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Okay. Håkan, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on again. Thank you.
Of course, mate. No problem. Right. So we're now talking the LA card, Riyadh season, first time in the States, and we're on the Andy Ruiz versus Gerald Miller fight. Give us your breakdown, please, mate.
I think that for me, that Andy Ruiz has been out 2 years, and but he looks good on the open workout last night. I watched the open workout, not live, but early today, as I'm working on during the days. But so I think Andy Ruiz looked good, and but you can't take too much from an open workout of your predictions, maybe. But I think that Andy Ruiz could win on a late stoppage, round 9. That's my prediction.
Andy Ruiz late stoppage round 9.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with Big Baby Miller when he fought Daniel Dubois. So I go with Andy Ruiz stoppage round 9.
Yeah, well, yeah, Big Baby Miller didn't have his paracetamol that day, did he? So moving swiftly on, Darren Aston. Before we bring in Coach Daz Metcalf, let's have Darren. Let's have your let's have your little breakdown of this fight, please.
I'm actually looking forward to this fight. I've always liked Andy Ruiz. You know, he's got good fast hands. Like we've mentioned before, like the only problem sometimes is his discipline. Like, you know, he lets himself get out of shape. He parties too much, especially after the Anthony Joshua win, and then he let himself down after that. I like what he does in the ring. I think, like I say, he's got fast hands. He's got a good chin. I think his technique's pretty good. He lacks a little bit here and there in a few departments, but the problem with this fight, I think, is his inactivity could be a bit of a problem. But do I think Jarrell Miller is that great? No, I don't. The thing is, he's lost 45 pounds for this fight, though. As someone mentioned in the comments, I did see that the other day. I think Andy Ruiz will get the job done, but I think it is going to go to points because I feel like Jarrell Miller will be a bit more durable in this fight because of the weight he's lost. But I think one of the key things to mention is before Daniel Dubois beat Hrgovic, Daniel Dubois beating Jarrell Miller in the last round, who was massively overweight. It was one of Daniel Dubois' biggest wins. And he's then gone on and got a Joshua fight at Wembley. So you look at this, like Andy Ruiz's first fight in the ring in over 2 years to be fighting Jarrell Miller. When you look at like things like that on paper, it's a solid fight to come back to, really, for his inactivity. So if he gets a nice win here, you know, it'd be nice to see Andy Ruiz to go on to bigger and better things because I want to see him back in the mix. But as we've already mentioned, his discipline lacks sometimes, and that's where he's got to improve on things.
Daz, welcome to the show, mate.
Cheers, mate. Sorry I'm late. Session ran over a little bit.
No problem. No problem, pal. Hope things went well in training today. So, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I am saying it. Is Andy Ruiz, even though he's been unified world champion, is he possibly a fighter that can you think of another fighter in the heavyweight division with the skill level that Andy Ruiz has got that's underachieved as much as he has?
Not a fan. He just it's like Darren said, he just lets himself go in between fights. He just, you know, he had a Buster Douglas moment, didn't he? When when he beat Joshua, he went and got fat. Well, even fatter than he is. And he, you know, he just enjoyed life. And thing is, you know, you win a heavyweight title, as Buster Douglas found out. Listen, everyone wants a piece here, then, don't they? You know, you don't. You've got to live the life even more as a champion. And he didn't do that, and he sort of had his Buster Douglas moment, which I'm sure he regrets, to be honest. I think that'll, you know, niggle him deep inside, to be fair, because his skill level is very, very good, very high skill level. So, you know, let's see what he does. Let's see what he what ambition he's got left. You know, he'll be set for life money wise. So, does he want to be heavyweight champion at World again? We'll see.
See that you've said it right there. That one word, ambition. This guy's been offered opportunities to fight Deontay Wilder for the heavyweight title when Deontay Wilder was champion, but wanted ridiculous, something like 20 million for fighting him. You don't turn opportunities like that down if you've got ambition. I get the feeling that even though he's got all the skill in the world, I completely agree with you, Daz. I think he's a very, very skilled fighter, very dangerous, really good hooker, which Anthony Joshua found out about. And I just don't think he believes in himself. And he's not got the right backing. Clearly don't have the right people around him to keep him on track, to guide him in the right direction, because he's made some really bad decisions. I don't know what he's got. If he doesn't win this fight, Daz, I don't know what he's got after this.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to win it pretty handily, to be fair. He should do anyway.
I'll tell you something. His chin's absolute granite. Andy
It is,
Ruiz.
mate. You know,
It
couple that with his skill, and he's got decent power as well. Listen, we shouldn't be talking about him fighting Jarrell Miller. We should be talking about him in the mix with Fury, Usyk, and all them.
Yeah.
Mate, I honestly think that he's, and I don't like it because I rate him. He's really good, but I think he's reached his Everest. You know, he's been world heavyweight champion. Does he want that enough again, mate? I don't know. Listen. He's got to fight better people than Miller as well. You know, which I'm sure he will. But I don't know. I'm not sure the ambition's there, if I'm honest.
No, I agree, guys. I think Miller's nothing more than a punching bag. And with any fighter with any movement at all, it's an easy night's work. Miller's just going to keep on walking forward. If you've got some sort of movement and a good jab, you beat Miller every day of the week. Anyone with any decent, and that's what Andy Ruiz should be doing, using movement, using a jab, and then anytime Miller walks onto it, it walks straight onto one of them hooks. And I agree, it could be an easy night's work, although Miller has a very good chin as well. So my personal opinion is this is going to be an absolute snooze fest, and I'm going to end up with matchsticks in my eyes, trying to stay awake after this fight to watch the rest of the card. To be quite honest, guys. Right, moving swiftly on to a heavyweight fight that isn't going to be a ball fest, that I think might steal fight of the night. Jared Anderson versus Martin Bakole.
Yes.
What a fight. And seeing as though you've made that little yes, we'll have you on first, Chris. Let's have your breakdown of this. It's an absolute barnstorm of this, isn't it?
I keep flip-flopping on who I think's going to win. First I thought Martin Bakole. Now I'm thinking Anderson. But yeah, I'll make a prediction. But I think this is the best fight on the card by far. Obviously, the Americans don't realize it because they don't really know about Martin Bakole. But because they're both of them, their defense ain't the best. They're both volume punchers. So, and I just think it's just going to be a great, entertaining fight. I did think at first when it got announced, I thought Anderson's not ready for Bakole because his last performances weren't the best. But then the only losses and people who Bakole struggles with are people with fast hands who are athletic. Like obviously Michael Hunter lost, and even Kuzman had a fast jab. Like he won, but he struggled with it a little bit. So then I was thinking, and obviously Anderson is only like 24, 25, young. Like it might just be too quick, overwhelming, too fast. But yeah, so I just can't decide. I'm sitting on the fence on this one. I want Bakole to win. I want Bakole to win. So I'm going to say Bakole. Yeah, that was my original pick. So I'm going to say Bakole's going to win. He's going to be too big, too strong. And obviously defense, I think he's going to hit him, and he's going to jack Anderson late rounds.
Right, Darren. Before I get your prediction, are you on a computer? Can you see the comments in the sidebar?
Yeah, I just saw it. Yeah.
Are you able to read them out for me? Because I'm coming off my phone here. I can't see them comments.
I've just saw the one. I didn't see the. Is it Adam Howley? But he thinks Bakole's going to upset Jared Anderson. Yeah. Adam Hurley. I think Bakole might.
Let's get your opinion then, Darren.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be Jared Anderson's coming of age fight. Doing this. I think Bakole's conditioning isn't great. Not that he's sort of a fighter that needs to be in great condition because he's fought like it a lot of times. But I think Jared Anderson is going to beat Martin Bakole because I think Bakole's style of the way he fights will suit Jared Anderson. I think it's going to be a styles mate fight for the way Jared Anderson will win this fight. I just think he's going to be the fresher man. And I think Jared Anderson needs someone like Martin Bakole to make him look good. And I think that's what he'll do. I think he'll beat Martin Bakole, and I think he might even stop him. Has he got that?
I didn't get that last bit. Sorry, mate.
I said. I think that the way Martin Bacoli fights, I think this might make Jared Anderson look really good, and I think he needs someone like Martin Bacoli's style. And I think Jared Anderson might even pull out the stoppage in this fight to win.
I can hear Carl absolutely screaming down his phone on the journey back down the M1 at you right now. He hates Jared Anderson. He thinks that he's overhyped. I'm going to put it out there now because this is what he'd probably be saying. He's overhyped. Here he is.
I ain't said it just to upset him.
Right, Daz, let's bring some order back to the show. Break it down for me.
Mate, I'm a little bit like Chris, to be fair. I'm a bit.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, what? 1 minute I'm with Bacoli, and the next minute I'm with Anderson. I'm torn between that and Daz's opinion that it could be Anderson's coming of age, but I sort of like don't know, and that's what's intriguing about it. That's why I want to watch it.
Right point. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's I'm just looking forward to it. I think Bacoli is obviously he's a little bit more proven, but then again, I won't say he's way above Anderson. Mate, I can't. If you're going to put me on spot, I can't even decide when I'm on spot. It's one of them, isn't it?
No, you can't do that. I wasn't allowed that.
No, I
wanted the splinters in my ass.
Don't worry about upsetting Carl.
It's very rare. I don't usually sit on fence, and I'm not going to. I think
just upset Carl.
No, I think I'm just going to go with proven fighter up to yet, and that's Bacoli. To be honest, but I'm not going to be surprised if Anderson wins. But we've yet to see Anderson's art tested, haven't we? We've yet to see we've yet to see him get it, and I mean really it, not just one shot. I mean, sustain pressure and get it, being face a little bit of adversity. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, listen, he could come through it with flying colours, or he could crumble. Either way, I think this is a perfect test for Anderson at this time. So, will he pass?
So, guys, I'm still waiting to see the Martin Bacoli that apparently shows up in sparring. The Martin Bacoli that's giving Anthony Joshua kittens. The Martin Bacoli that's giving Joe Joyce kittens. The Martin Bacoli that knocks people out. Oh, you hear all these sparring stories.
Mate, that's just Billy Nelson talking shit.
Again.
Well, is it though? Because apparently there's a lot of boxers have agreed to what after these stories have come out. A lot of boxers have kind of gone, yeah, it did happen. Listen, I'm waiting to see that Martin Bacoli because I don't think he showed up on fight night.
Yeah, heavyweight.
That being said,
heavyweight. So it don't matter if you got 16-ounce gloves on and headgear. Trust me, I've been it. It hurts. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of them, amount of fighters who, look $1 million in sparring, but it's about that, that 35 whatever minutes under lights that it counts. I've no doubt Bacoli's, drop people. I mean, there's stories with Dubois dropping Joshua. It's just, it is what it is, mate. You've just got to, you've got to bring it. I mean, listen, the best sparring partner I think that's ever lived were Oliver McCall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And nails.
You know what I mean? And in sparring, mate, he floored Tyson. All sorts. He got sent home apparently because he cost that many fighters world title shots because in sparring he were injuring them. You know what I mean? Honestly, mate. Honestly, right? These stories that people were paying him obviously to spar because he was just tough, punched hard. But in sparring, mate, he it were causing havoc. He were breaking bones and costing people world title shots. Do you know what I mean? Or big fights. But in that main event, he didn't really produce that sort of form. I think Bacoli's got to believe in himself a little bit. Get out of that sparring partner mentality. I think. If he does, I think he'll be too much.
Well, I'm gonna counteract my argument about Bacoli. Go on, Chris.
I just wanted to just add something as well. Like I think Billy Nelson, like his coach, like he just chats shit and he's putting pressure on his fighter by saying, I think last week he said he broke Dubois' nose. Then the other week he's like he knocked out Usyk. Then he beat Josh. Like it's just who cares? Like in sparring, you're learning on things, you're trying things out, so you might get knocked out because you're doing something. Will this work? Oh, I didn't work. I got put on my ass. Let's not do that in the actual fight. It don't mean anything. What happens in sparring means nothing. And then it's just like and you're supposed to keep sparring stories like in house. And I just think, especially an old boy like him, he should be respecting boxing. You don't go around, this and that. Next minute, he's going to be, why isn't he releasing no footage if it's true? I think that he may have done all right in these spars, and they're just frustrated that they're not getting the fights they want. So they're making up this bullshit. Oh, he's done this, he's done that.
Trying to sell
try
his
and
man.
promote themselves. Yeah, I think,
I agree. I agree, Chris.
Wrong,
I think they definitely bring out these stories to try and get fights made. Right, I'm going to counteract my own argument, guys. I'm going to counteract my own argument by saying that Jared Anderson's been in with absolutely nobody. His biggest name on his record is the worst heavyweight champion of all time in Charles Martin. And he was dreadful in that fight. Dreadful. He looked even worse. I mean, I don't know how anyone can look bad against Charles Martin, but he looked dreadful.
He did,
yeah.
Jared Anderson's got to be. Jared Anderson for me has got to be Jared Anderson for me has got to be a much improved fighter to do anything in this fight, and I don't know whether he's learned enough. He's very young. He's got a long way to go. They had to make a fight like this for him because he was fighting nobodies, and he's 17-0. He's got no one on his record. He needed a fight like this. They're gambling a little bit, in my opinion, because Bacoli's dangerous.
This is the fight for Jared, mark my words. Bacoli's going to be the man to make Jared Anderson look good.
You're just trying to wind Carl up.
No,
let's get...
You heard it here first.
Håkan, let's get your opinion, mate, before we move on.
I think that Martin Bacoli is a good fight for Jared Anderson, and I'm glad that Jared Anderson is to fight a good boxer, but I think it could be perfect for Jared Anderson. And I think that Bacoli has been out for quite a while since his last fight, and we have to wait to see if he hasn't been out like Andy Reese, but it's a while since his last fight, and so I think the fight will be. I think it could be an exciting fight, and I think it could be very close a long way. But I think in the end that it will go to decision, and Jared Anderson wins on a close decision.
Okay. I think it'll probably go to points as well, and it could go either way for me. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna enjoy the fight, see what happens. I mean, it could be like Darren said, it could be Jared Anson's coming out fight, but he's got to improve massively from his last few outings to get anywhere near that. Right, one more fight on the undercard we'll go through before we get to the main headliner. So we're going to pick up Isaac Cruz versus Jose Venezuela for the WBA super lightweight title. I mean, what do you say about Isaac Cruz? The guy's got a fantastic record, 26 2-1 with 18 KOs. He's only got I think two losses on his record. I don't think he's been stopped, if I'm right in saying so.
No.
His last time out, he beat Rolly Romero in 8 rounds. I'll come to you first, Darren.
Yep.
We'll go through quick predictions on this one. How do you see the fight going? Break it down for me.
Really like Isaac Cruz. I think he wins this one by stoppage, probably midway. I think this will be a pretty dominant performance. I really rate him. Great fighter.
Yeah, very good, isn't he? He's only lost to the very best, Tank Davis on points, and then he had an early loss on his record early on in his career. Daz, how do you see any difference to Darren?
No, mate. I think he just breaks him down and takes him out middle rounds. He's just too strong and powerful. Yeah, I really like Isaac Cruz, mate. He's my type of fighter.
Yeah, very good insight. Okay, Håkan?
I agree with Darren and Darren. I rate Isaac Cruz very high, and I was very impressed with Isaac Cruz when he knocked out Rolly Romero in his last fight and won the title. So I think that Isaac Cruz wins on a stoppage, round 6.
Right. Are we going to get the full ass, Chris? How do you see it?
Yeah, same. I think this is just a stay busy fight for Isaac Cruz. The guy he's fighting, I think this is his second 12-rounder. He's only had like 11 fights or anything like this. Yeah, he's going to win. It's just stay busy fight. The guy is pretty tall, though. It looked like a little and large comedy show in the face-off. No, because he's a lot taller than him. But no, Isaac Cruz for the win. Stoppage. 6 rounds.
Okay, moving on to the what it looks like on paper, an absolutely outstanding fight. Israel Madrimov is defending his WBA super lightweight title against the man moving up a weight, Terence Crawford. Everyone sees him as a pound for pound great. If he wins this, that makes him a 4-weight world champion. No one's been able to work out the puzzle that is Bud Crawford. I'll come to you first, Daz. Is Madrimov the man to do it?
No, I don't think so. I'm a bit. I get a few eyebrows raised in my opinion of Crawford. I think he's super talented. He's obviously an elite fighter, but I think he's a bit suffering with a lack of a dance partner. Spence. Listen, let's be right. Spence wasn't himself, but he could only beat what was in front of him. When you look at his record, it's not exactly standard. Whoa, we beat him. Do you know what I mean? But I still rate him very highly, if that makes sense. I think he could have. I think he could have given pretty much anyone a fight. In probably at last 40, 50 years. But I just think he's a bit Calzaghe-ish, maybe. A bit lack of a major dance partner. Do you know what I mean? And I think you need that. But I just don't think Madrimov's going to be the one to do it. I think he'll just find a way, and I think he'll win it fairly comfortable. If I'm totally honest, I just think, like I said, you know, I mean, when he beat Spence, there were people talking like, "Oh, he'd have beat Sugar Ray Robinson, he'd have beat Sugar Ray Leonard, and all this, and he'd have beat Thomas Hearns, he'd have beat Durant." And it's like, come on, you know, calm yourselves down. He's not, you know, if you look at his record, he's not exactly beat anyone that stands out. There's always a little backstory, and like I said, I know he can only beat what's in front of him, but you can't ignore the circumstances for me. You can't look at Errol Spence and say it was a prime Errol Spence. Do you know what I mean? You can't look at Kell Brook and say it was a prime Kell Brook. You know, wasn't really a prime Sean Porter. You know, there was controversy with the Avanesian fight. I'm just not into this. I think he's a very, very good fighter, and I rate him very highly. But I don't really see how you can talk about him in the same breath as Robinson, Leonard, and all them, if I'm honest. But I think he'll get the job done Saturday. I think he's way too good for Madrimov.
I hear what you're saying. It is very controversial what you're saying, though. So let me put this scenario to you. I don't think it's ever going to happen because he's moved up now to super welterweight. But if he was still at welterweight, who wins out of him and Boots?
Well, you have to ask me that. I think
I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say, which is why I'm asking you, because then I can go to one of the guys.
Yeah, well, listen, I'll be honest. You know how highly I rate Giron, and I think Giron is going to be, I might be wrong, but I think Giron is going to be a finish as an all-time great. I think he's going to be unreal, unbelievable. And I do think, listen, we've got to take Crawford's age into account a little bit as well. You know, Crawford's probably, you know, I mean, listen, he's not a natural welter, is he? Let's be fair. You know, he feather, super feather. But Ennis is a big welterweight. But, mate, I think Ennis beats him handily, if I'm honest. I think Ennis is a special talent.
Okay.
Jackson said on one of the comments here that Crawford wins at 154 and no higher. On one of the comments in the sidebar.
Yeah, that's the one question for me. What does
he mean? Does he mean he beats Boots at 154?
He's put Ennis, he's criminally underrated.
Don't know about underrated. I think everyone's raving about him.
I think the question got here is, guys, is, I mean, Terence Crawford's moved up. He's maybe picking Madrimov, or the fight's maybe been made with Madrimov because of Madrimov's lack of experience. I mean, unless I've got this wrong, he's only had 11 fights. Is that right?
12.
Yeah. 12. So there's a distinct difference in experience in between these two fighters. Chris, I'm going to come to you. I asked Daz them questions purposely because I wanted to get a reaction, and I got the reaction I wanted.
Set me up.
I got the reaction I wanted. So, Chris, do you agree with what Daz has said about Crawford and Boots?
I have to disagree. I think if they fought right now at welterweight, I think Crawford will beat him right now. But I think in a few fights, obviously Crawford's older. I think Boots will beat him. But if they fought right now, like next fight, I think Crawford will beat him. But obviously we can't really say that because this one's at 154, and then have to go back down to welter. Or if we rewind back, I don't know, if he fought him straight after the Spence fight, he would have beat him. But now he's moved up, he's fought this to go back down. That'd be a problem. He'd probably lose because Boots is campaigning like that. Well, just say, for argument's sake, straight after the Spence fight, he fought Boots, he would have beat him. I think too experienced, too good. like Boots. He's very, very good. I rate him highly, but I think right now still gets hit a little bit, and he's a bit green still. I think he needs a few more fights. And he's a bit tight at that weight as well, 147. I think he's more 154.
Yeah, I don't see Crawford coming.
I don't think.
I don't see Crawford ever. No. Crawford's not going to come back down, mate. I don't see that happening now.
I think by the time Ennis moves up, I think Crawford will be retired, if I'm honest.
Well, that's
same.
I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah, I don't ever see it happening. So, Chris, give us a breakdown of this fight.
Do you know what? I think because of Crawford's age, and he's been out for a while, and I think it's going to be a boring fight, to be honest. I think Crawford's just going to be, because that Madrimov, have you seen him fight? Like, he's just like got one style, like he's just a bit of a forward like plodder, you know. I think Crawford's just going to negate everything he does and win on points, and it's just going to be like boring points win for Crawford. That's how I think it's going to go.
Okay, Håkan, how do you see
it? I think Bud Crawford is too good for Madrimov, and inactivity, just one fight a year. That's Terence Crawford's schedule in the last few years. So I don't think a year ago will have much impact on Terence Crawford performance on Saturday. So I will go with Bud Crawford to win on stoppage round 8.
Okay. Darren, how do you see this?
I totally agree what Håkan's just said there about the Bud Crawford schedule. Like the inactivity doesn't really faze me as regards Crawford, because that's his schedule anyway. He's done it several times, come back after 12 months and longer and fought out of his skin. As we know, Madrimov's undefeated, but I do, obviously this is his biggest test to date, but I do think this will be Crawford's biggest test to date as well. I think Madrimov will, it's the fight of his life really, and I think he will perform, but I just think Terence Crawford's going to have that little bit too much for him. And I fancy Terence Crawford to win on points, but I think Madrimov will give it his all. I think he'll stick in there, make it entertaining, probably take quite a few shots, but I think he will give it all he's got, and I think he'll make it a decent fight. But just Crawford's decent points win.
Okay. Give me your opinion, and then Håkan, I want yours straight after. Give me, Darren, give me your opinion of who you think wins out of Bud Crawford and Boots. Give me your breakdown of how you think that fight goes if it happens. And then straight after you finished, Håkan, give me your opinion, mate. And then I'm just bear with me one, guys. I'm just shooting up, but crack on. Give me your opinions.
Okay. This is a real tough one. Because I really, really rate Crawford. I like Boots as well, but because of the experience of Crawford, of who he's beaten and what he's done in his career so far, I'm probably going to say Crawford nicks it. But I think it'll be very close, and I think it's a hard one. So I'll go Crawford. So I think Håkan's next.
Yeah, I feel the same as Darren Aston. I think if the fight will happen next at welter, I think Crawford just nicks it. But if it will be in a year, I think in a year or 2 years, I think Boots would win it. So it depends on when it happens, if it happens.
It's a bit lonely out here on this branch, lads. Can I say in my defence, the last time I championed a fighter like I did Ennis, and I said he'll be an Hall of Famer, it was Miguel Cotto. So I have got a decent record doing that, and that was from Miguel Cotto in Olympics. So, but no, listen, I'm probably a bit harsh on Crawford. He's a very, very good fighter, but I do think the dance partner issue is, it can be damaging. Do you know what I mean? To a legacy, to be fair. I mean, look at Carl Zaggy. Carl Zaggy suffers with the same thing for me. He fought Roy Jones, yeah, but a shadow of Roy Jones. Fought Hopkins, yeah, but, an old Hopkins. Well, I mean, has Hopkins ever been young? Do you know what I mean? I think he come out his mum's bits at 35. It's, it's just, it's just, I don't know, just lack of competition, I think, sometimes. But it can only beat who's put in front of him. So, credit to him.
I think very similar to Chris on this fight. I think he deals with Madrimov quite easily. I think he does enough. He'll spoil when he needs to spoil. He'll use his skill, and he'll get a points victory. That being said, it wouldn't surprise me if he stops Madrimov late as well, because he'll be chasing the fight. Madrimov, come the mid rounds, he'll be chasing the fight. But I'm still going to stick with what I said. I'm going to go with points. Okay, moving on to the third topic. Very controversial situation that's currently happening. I don't know if you can hear this, Carl. There we go. So this has been all over socials. I'm sure you've all watched it. I don't even know where to start with this. And I'm going to say this right off the bat. This is not us having a pop at transgender people or the transgender community. This is strictly about what is right and wrong in boxing and what is right and wrong in the Olympics. We have a situation where a fighter by the name of Imane Khalif, who has a while back entered themselves as a female fighter and failed a gender test when they were tested for. They were found to have male X and Y chromosomes. And I don't know the full story, but from what I understand off the back of that, they're now saying they're transgender. This fighter's now saying they're transgender. They've been allowed into fight into the Olympics, and the fight just took place against Italian Angela Carini, I think the girl's name is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was difficult to watch, guys. It was very one-sided. You could see the difference in power. A lot's been said on socials, and quite rightly so. Daz, I want your straight, honest opinion.
Well, can I just ask a favour? Can everybody else go first? Because I'm going to go full on fucking Teddy Atlas over this. It might
I'll go
take
first
a
if you
while.
want.
Okay.
I'll go.
Okay. We'll start with you then, Håkan. We'll start with you. Give us your European opinion of this whole situation.
I will start with long before this Olympics, there had been so much criticized during the amateur boxing for a while, and this year's Olympics could be the last boxing tournament at the Olympics. And there have been a lot of controversy in the last 4 to 8 years in the amateur boxing. So to do this when IBA had at the World Amateur Championship, these boxers wasn't allowed to be in the Amateur World Championship, and to let them be here to fight at the Olympics, it's a disgrace. I don't understand what they're doing here.
Has Andy gone?
Yeah, I think he has. So, Daz, do you want to go next? Ashton.
Yeah. For me, to be honest, I don't think it needs to be too overanalyzed. I just think men fight men in the correct weight division. Women fight women in the correct weight division. I mean, some people have said to me, "Oh, what you should do," because some people have said to me on social media, "Oh, what you should do is you should have transgender people fighting transgender people." I'm not going to beat around the bush. Who the hell wants to watch the transgender division? Let's be honest about it. It's just, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would agree with me. You might get the minority that don't, but it's just, for me, there's no place in the sport for it, and that's just my opinion. And some people might slate me, but it's pretty simple. Women fight women in the correct division. Men fight men in the correct division. There's no transgender division. You keep the sport to what it was, and Olympic boxing has completely gone down the pan. Not only with things like that, with dodgy decisions. And I can't see it lasting much longer in the Olympics, to be honest, which is sad, really.
Yep, fair point, Daz. Chris?
Well, I think I've got to agree, but I just think, I know obviously we've got to talk about boxing, but any sport, no. Any sport, they're making it unfair. Men compete with men, women compete with women. Obviously, in boxing, it's more dangerous, but it's just like the world's gone mad, and I can't believe that this is being allowed. It's absolutely disgusting, and it's ruining women's boxing, struggling as it is. And if it's the case that it needs to be fair, how comes there's no women pretending to be men trying to fight men? Is there any? There's none, because they can't. Because they can't do that, because they're women and it's men. So how can a man go over to women and do it? And it's just disgraceful. I just can't understand why they can't just why can't I just keep it as it was? If you're a man, you've got your bits chopped or whatever, I don't care. You want to be a woman, but if you're still built like a man and you're still strong like a man, you fight men. And if you can't beat men, then stay at home and don't fight at all, because you ain't good enough. And that's simple as that. Don't go over and start beating up women. It's like you always get raised. Don't hit women. Don't raise your hand to women. And these men, they're saying that they're a woman and they're going and beating up women. It's nuts. I just can't believe that. How are they making it okay? And it's made it. I don't want to. I'm not watching the Olympics because I can't be bothered to figure out who's a man and who's a woman. Because I think all sports should be fair. Men should compete with men, women, and it's ruined sport. I used to love the Olympics. I'm not watching any of it. I'm not interested because I just think all this transgender stuff is just a load of shit, and I'm not interested. It's ruined sport for me, and I don't want to watch the Olympics. I'm not watching none of it. So yeah, that's my opinion on it.
I've been away, as you all know, and I only caught the highlights. But it broke my heart to think that Italian girl had trained for 4 years. 4 years. Yeah. To get her place in the Olympics, and unfortunately, that's the opponent she came up against. It broke my heart to see her take a knee. Yeah, it just can't be right, can it? It just can't be right.
No.
And
I think this is the last nail in the coffin for amateur boxing in the Olympics. I think there's more going on behind the scenes here, lads. I think this is political. I think that there's powers that be in the Olympic circles that don't want boxing in the Olympics, and they haven't wanted it in the Olympics for years. And I think this move to allow this transgender, if you want to call this guy a transgender fighter, to allow this transgender fighter to fight against females, I think this is a political move, and they've done it on purpose because it will cause outrage, and it'll. What's going to come out in the next few weeks is people are going to say boxing should be banned from the Olympics. It should never be allowed again. This is a travesty, and we will never, mark my words, we will never see boxing in the Olympics. Definitely not in the next 4 years.
But the IOC are playing the lottery with people's health because
it's shocking, mate.
Yeah,
it's more than dangerous, Carl. It's downright disgusting. It's downright disgusting. The people that have made this decision need sacking. End of story.
Yeah, definitely.
Listen, right. I said at the very start of this program, this is not this is not always taking a swing at the transgender community. This is about what's right and what's wrong when it comes to physicality in sport. And you can't have. Everybody knows it's very simple. You look at times in races. Look at punch power in boxing. Look at anything to do with physicality, and guys do it harder, faster, stronger than women. There's a reason why guys don't fight women. There's a reason why guys don't run against women. There's a reason why guys don't play football against women, because of the physicality. It's just downright wrong, out and out wrong. And I can't understand. Olympics have been going for such a long time now, mate. It's one of the best sporting events ever.
Was.
And then, well, yeah, exactly that. You've got people making decisions like this, and it's just going to destroy what the Olympics stands for. The Olympics is meant to be about fair sporting opportunity. You know, everyone goes on about. I mean, you had the triathlon where our guy came from nowhere and won the gold, and he was saying it's not the Olympic way to be booed, because he was booed when he went across the line because they wanted their French guy to win. He's saying it's not the Olympic way. Well, if that's not the Olympic way, then what's this? I'm staggered. I'm staggered we're even talking about it, guys. I'm staggered we've got to a position where the woke community have taken over and people are scared to say no. That's what this comes down to.
Yeah.
But I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to say something I shouldn't say that offends people, because I don't want to offend people. I don't want it to be like that. I don't want it to be about that. Because everyone has the right. Everyone has the right to be who they want to be. Everyone has the right to live their own life as the way they want to live it. But I echo what Chris said. If somebody was born a male, and you can clearly see how strong that fighter is. If somebody is born a male, they should not, and they want to transgender to a female. They should not be allowed to fight, run, or any sort of contact or physicality sport. They should not be allowed to compete in the female bracket. Simple. Your career finishes when you make that decision. Right, I'm going to leave my rant there, lads.
Darren, I'll say this through me, and Darren Medcalf, you're next.
Right, basically, I'll get the little issues with the Olympics out first. Shocking scores, shocking decisions.
Yeah.
I think it's also disgraceful that IBF lightweight champion at world in professional ring is competing against amateurs. I think it's disgusting. I hope she gets turned over. Onto the lowest of the low. I'm in disbelief. I love this sport at every level. Love it. Breathe it. It's in my blood. It has been since I was 12-year-old. This is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And you know what? It's like Andy said, it's not a slight on transgender anything. It's a slight on somebody who knows they've got a physical advantage and they're quite happy to beat on women. Do you know what I mean? It's disgusting. I mean, this, I can't even say her name. I can't remember it. It's stressing me out. The
Khalif.
Yeah, I'm in disbelief with it. I mean, I watched a clip of a fight, not the Olympic fight tonight. I watched one of her other fights. I don't know what competition it was. And you could see every time the punches landed, the effect. Do you know what I mean? The girl tonight, Karini, I believe her name is, she got it, and she said it. I think she said in Italian some a phrase that said, "This is not right." And I bet she's been it countless times in her boxing career. She gets it tonight, and she's like, "Whoa, what's going off here?"
Yeah.
It's disgusting, and I'm not being funny, but what's the Olympic Committee playing at? Do you know what I mean? Are they that scared of having a protest against them with people waving silly coloured flags about? Do you know what I mean? Saying the Olympic Committee's homophobic or transgender, whatever you want to call it. This boils down to absolute lunacy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. And do you know what, right? I've no issue. I train a gay female fighter. No issue. People being gay. No issue with anybody being different or wanting to be different. If you want to identify as a fucking toaster, identify as a toaster. Do you know what I mean? If you don't want to be called he, or if you want to be called them, change your fucking name to them. That's what you want to be called. Do you know what I mean? I just think the world's gone nuts, and boxing here is suffering because they're basically allowing a man to beat women up, and he is probably going to get a gold medal for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, he's going to get a gold medal for it, but in this country, you get locked up for it.
Mate, honestly though, what is happening? What is happening? Why? And what I can't understand is why are these opposition coaches allowing the women to go in? Just all of them say, I ain't fighting him. I ain't fighting him. And then listen, the Algerian will get awarded the gold medal because he won't have a fight, but he'll get awarded the gold medal. But I'm telling you now that will be tarnished forever. It'll be but no one would fight you because you're a man. Do you know what I mean? Bashing women up. Mate, it's absolutely fresh in my head that it's been allowed to happen. And every punch that he lands on a woman, you can see it. It's like, and listen, I'm going to refer to the Algerian as an absolute fucking scumbag because there's no shame whatsoever in what he's doing. He's bashing women up and smiling about it. Do you know what I mean? And point Chris made as well when he said women don't transition into men and then fight. Men, I think it did happen about a few months ago, Chris. I think a woman transitioned into, a man, and it were in a professional ring. I think in America, maybe, might be mistaken. Got wiped out, obliterated in about 15 seconds.
I think I remember that actually. I think I remember seeing that.
Seriously mangled.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I also, and this is a point. I train one of the hardest hitting females that I have ever come across. One of the strongest females I've ever come across in a ring. I think she could knock walls down. She's even gone on Twitter and said a man at the same weight as her would absolutely hammer her. Do you know what I mean? They don't even have to be of same skill level. It's just a natural strength. It's just we're built different. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking nuts. What's going on? Are we? We aren't trying to be too political. It's boxing, but are they that scared of some backlash? Are they scared to say, listen, no, that's not fair? You know what I mean? It's
crazy.
It's unbelievable. It's a sad day for.
So you know what's really scary. You know what's really scary, Daz, is that in some of the other sports that are in the Olympics, they've actually banned it, and certain athletes have not been able to compete in the Olympics because they've transitioned from male to female.
But when you win 7 battles week to week alone.
But in the most dangerous sport in the Olympics, they've just allowed it.
Mate, I remember she was a runner. I remember a runner. I think she was a 400
South African.
Or 800 meter Caster Semenya, she was called. I mean, listen, she was built like Frank Bruno. Do you know what I mean? She looked, you know, and listen, she were amazing, and she actually had, I think she actually paid hundreds of thousands of pounds to have the top tests to say, listen, I'm a woman, and it was proven she was a woman, but she was producing more testosterone than a woman of her age would do. But you see, this Algerian girl, man, whatever, he's failed the gender test.
Yep.
You know, Caster Semenya was, yeah, you're a female. Do you know what I mean? No question, you're a female. But the testosterone issue, you know, however they dealt with it, I can't remember. But this Algerian's failed the gender test. It's come back that, oh yeah, you know, you're a man. You know, and it's just disgusting. I mean, it's happened in MMA recently as well. You know, a trans woman, I mean, absolutely demolished someone. I mean, almost disfigured a woman in MMA. You know
Yeah,
what
I've
I mean?
seen that.
Yeah, it were brutal.
Brutal.
Yeah, and like Andy's just said, it's banned. You know, it won't be allowed. You're not allowed to run around the track against each other. You know, a man and a woman. You know, you're not allowed to play tennis against each other as a man and a woman. But yet you can smash each other in the face. You know what I mean? As a man, well, the woman's not smashing the man, is she? It's, you know, it's just, mate. Honestly, it's a sad day for. I think for Olympics. To be fair,
Yeah, it is.
you know, I think it's a sad day, and and I do fully agree. I think it's a nail in coffin for amateur boxing. You know, if this weren't happening, I think we'd have the topics of. My personal issue would be, yeah, the scoring's been a bit disgusting because,
Shocking.
I mean, I don't understand how you can win 2 rounds and then lose the 3rd round without getting knocked down or having a point off and lose the fight. You know, I'm sorry, but I just don't understand. I'm like, am I missing something here or what? I mean, I said on social media the other day, this is why I will never, ever enter amateur boxing. I'm not saying professional boxing squeaky clean and shit don't happen, you know, dodgy decisions. I'm not saying that. But come on, I mean, you've got 5 judges, and honestly, they come out, they say split decision more than Akan does. Akan loves a split decision, don't you, mate? But you know what I mean? You know what I mean, though? It's like they'll win 2 rounds and lose the, I don't know, lose the 3rd, but then they lose the fight. It's like, what's going off? Do you know
I
what
don't
mean?
understand either.
It's crazy.
I saw a couple of fights last night.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was dodgy decision in a.
Crazy. I mean, I've seen dodgy decisions. I've been at Henderson in amateur boxing, and I've seen them, and you know, it happens. But I just think to myself, on that sort of stage, on, you know, that bigger stage, do we have to have 5 people round a ring who, you know what I mean? And I think this is why we don't have that in professional boxing when it's called for, because if they can't do it when they've been training for 4 years to judge a fight, do you know what I mean? But I think this transgender issue is taken away from me anyway, from the scoring, because it's been shocking. And also the fact that,
I agree with that.
Yeah, and also the fact that I don't think Beatrice Ferreira should be in the Olympics. Do you know what I mean? But combine, you know, compared to this issue with transgender, them two, it don't really matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just don't really matter. I just think what's it going to? Well, I mean, what's it going to take someone to get seriously hurt?
It's going to take some. Yeah, it's going to take a really bad situation, does, and even then they'll say, well, you know, they won't admit they're wrong. They won't, and they'll probably allow it to carry on.
I know.
It just beggars belief, does.
I know for a fact, right? and I'll say this, I'll put everything I own on it. Every amateur club up and down this country, if they had a senior girl fighting for him, whether she'd had 20 fights, 30 fights, 40 fights, if they got proposed an opponent who then they was told, listen, she's transgender, she was born a guy, I don't know any coach that would allow it to go ahead. And I don't.
No, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't.
I don't think, and I'm pretty sure England boxing wouldn't. So why is the Olympic Committee allowing this to happen? Is it all just so? Yeah, you can't call us homophobic or transphobic or whatever they want to call it. The world's gone nuts. It's gone absolutely crazy.
100%.
Common sense has got to prevail somewhere, hasn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, and it's seriously lacking up to here, isn't it?
It's got so bad. Did you see the opening celebrations? Like, I'm not a religious man, but the way that all them like transgender people were mocking like Jesus Christ at the start. If we did that about transgender people, everyone would be lynched. They'd be held to pay.
Yeah. Listen,
and like, I thought that I'm an atheist, but I thought that was disgusting. If people believe in God, they're allowed to believe in God. And you should not do that to anyone's faith or religion. And that was the opening ceremony.
Yeah.
So that just showed what this Olympics is all about. Fucked up shit. Like, it's all wrong. The world's gone mad.
I think we better move on to the final topic. I don't think
I'm not done yet. I'm not done.
Go on then, Daz.
No, I totally agree with what you've just said, Chris. I totally agree. No, listen, I'm going to explain myself. Like I said, way I've been brought up, where I've been, my mindset is, if you're a good person, you're a good person, right? If you're a cunt, you're a cunt. And I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, whatever. If you're a cunt, you're a cunt. You're not a cunt because of your race or whatever. You're a cunt because you're a cunt. It's in your personality. But if you're a good person, you're a good person no matter what. Now, all this, talking, saying, oh, no, don't refer to me as he, don't refer to me as she. Well, what were you born with? I was born with a dick. Well, you're an E then, aren't you? It's not fucking rocket science, is it?
Yeah.
It's not rocket science. And do you know what, right? I'll be totally honest. Do you know if somebody is born and all through their teen years and all through maybe early 20s, if they truly believe in their heart, right, that they was born in the wrong, they feel like, oh, look, I think I should have been born a woman. And if they go through the procedure, listen, I think it's fucking immensely brave to make that decision. I do. But don't transition from a fucking woman, from a man to a woman, and then start wanting to fucking punch women in the face and expect it to be all right. Do you know what I mean? Because deep down in your DNA, your bone structure, everything, you are a fucking man. Do you know what I mean? By all means, identify as a woman, become a woman, have your bits chopped off, get the relevant bits, and live your life happily. But don't start sugarcoating, bashing women up as a man. And that's what the Olympic Committee's condoning here. And it's fucking disgusting. Yeah. Now we can move on if you want.
All done?
Yeah. Can I just say as well, those are my beliefs and not of the channel of Last Bell Boxing. And also, I'd like to say that even though we've spoke about transgenders, there are other sexualities available. There is other things you can identify as. So, peace.
Well done. Andy, I'll let you take this one away.
Your Wi-Fi down again?
No, I'm here. I thought Carl was going to take over there, but anyway, right. So this weekend at Hopewell, home of Barnsley FC, Boxer have got a show. headlined by Callum Simpson and Zach Chelly for the British and Commonwealth super middleweight titles. We're going to run through the undercard a little bit, guys. I'm not going to go too far down the card. I think we'll just pick the top 3 fights. So we're going to start off with interesting fight. This Stevie McKenna is going in against Joe Laws, 10-rounder for the vacant WBC International Silver super welterweight title. Joe Laws, if you remember a few years back, lads, was being touted as a world beater, the next big thing. Come on, stuck a couple of times. Ryland Charlton stopped him in 3 rounds, and he kind of went off the rails a little bit. Seems to have got himself back into the frame again. Carl, I'll come to you first, mate. How do you see this fight panning out?
Yeah, I think Steve McKenna beats him. I think Joe Laws has been worked out. For one, just on a bit of a side note, it's a bit interesting that Ben Shalom's gone to LA, and I'm hearing that he won't be back in time for the Barnsley card, which is quite interesting for a promoter not to be at his card. But just coming back to this fight, yeah, I think Steve McKenna's on the upward trajectory. Joe Laws, although if he's talking about getting anywhere near where he thinks he belongs, he's got to be winning this fight. But I'll go for Steve McKenna. I think he's a nice ranger, and I think he'll keep him at the end of a long jab and win on points.
Okay, Darren Aston, are you seeing this one, pal?
I've actually spoke to Joe Laws. He's a great character. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He's tough in the ring. He'll give it all he's got. But I think McKenna's going to have too much, to be honest, and I think he'll actually stop Joe Laws. But I think Joe Laws sort of like realises like where he's at now with his, he's fighting in the, not that it's massive, but he's fighting in a stadium. He's on a good platform here. I think he's going to absolutely go for broke and give it all he's got. I think he's a guy that will just come forward, throw the bombs, go for broke. But I think McKenna's just going to have a little bit too much and probably pick him off and probably stop him late.
Okay. Chris, you see it any other way?
No, yeah, McKenna all day. Like, I do like Joe Laws. I think he's a character. He's a funny kid. He did used to annoy me a bit. Another guy with his sparring stories about he went out on the piss and then battered David Haney in sparring. He kept trying to live on that for years. But apart from that, he's a good kid. But I don't think he's going to have enough to do anything to McKenna.
Håkan, how are you seeing this one going?
I think that Callum Simpson wins this fight.
We're not on the Callum Simpson.
Okay, sorry.
Håkan, we're not on the Callum Simpson fight. We're talking about Joe. We're talking about Joe Laws against Stephen McKenna.
Oh, sorry. I think McKenna wins.
I think Håkan took 5 minutes nap there.
Yeah. I have got some big news on the sidebar from Twitter. So sorry for that. And so I think McKenna wins on a stoppage. I think he wins this fight easily. Stoppage round 5, round 6.
Daz Metcalf, after taking us a tour around your house, mate, thanks for that. How do you see this one going?
I've just not eaten all day because I've been at work and I have to go and train fighters. So feel free to, feel a bit sorry for me.
Oh, bless you.
I'm well enough.
What did you say?
I'm well enough, I am.
Oh, you go steady. Mate, I think McKenna takes him out inside 3 rounds, if I'm honest. He's going to go for him. He goes for everybody. And I just think McKenna's going to overwhelm him. Really do. I just can't see this being competitive at all. So I'm saying inside 3 rounds, Stevie McKenna.
Well, I mean, I can't disagree. He looks lethal, McKenna, don't he? 13 knockouts in 14 fights. I think Joe Laws is going to be. I think Joe Laws is going to be doing well if he sees the second half of the fight. Yeah, I'm going for a Stephen McKenna knockout in 5 rounds. Anyone not giving an opinion on that one? I think we've all gone through it, haven't we?
Yeah.
Right. Moving on, guys. Caroline Dubois defends her IBO World Lightweight title against Maria Meneo. Carl, seeing as though you're taking the mick out of the title, give me your breakdown.
Oh God, Caroline Dubois round 3, boring.
So what was it? What was the yawn for? Because it's a boring fight and a boring opponent.
Boring. She needs matchmaking better. Boring. Same opponents who can't lace her gloves. She's jumping in with substandard opponents. Normally she'd beat better in the amateurs, and it's just boring. You need to step her up and get her around the higher echelons of that division. But Benchlon cannot deliver the fights, and it might cost me accreditation, but Caroline Dubois will need to leave for either Eddie Hearn or Frank Warren if she wants to get the big fights in that division. So, yeah.
I wish you'd have waited until after Saturday night to come out with them comments, mate. I was looking forward to going to the show.
You know, sometimes it's not Dubois' fault. She can only fight who's in front of her, but I've been really underwhelmed with who Benchlon put her in with. Terrible matchmaking. So not only have I offended the promoter, now I've offended the matchmaker. So there you go.
Well, okay. I wish you got off that fence, Carl. You never say how it is, mate. You know, Darren Aston. I'll move straight on to you, mate. Break down this fight for me.
I've got to agree with Carl a little bit, to be honest. I do think like they need to start doing something a bit more now with Caroline Dubois. I mean, this fight, in all honesty, it isn't really a fight. I'm looking at the card thinking, I can't wait for that fight. I'm not really that fussed about it because I think Caroline Dubois might get stretched late in the fight, but I expect her to take her opponent out. But yeah, it's getting a bit tedious and boring now with Caroline Dubois without any real test, to be honest with you.
Chris, come to you next. This is also for the WBC interim title, which means it puts Caroline Dubois, if she wins this fight, in the driving seat for the WBC title. Getting closer and closer to actually getting a world title fight. Break this one down for me, though.
Yeah, I'm with the other guys. It's like, who cares? One of them ones. It's just not. We know what's going to happen before. It's not competitive. We know that she's good. We know she's talented. Let's stick her in with someone where it's going to be a good fight. As boxing fans, you want to see 50-50 fights, good fights. And she's not been in one yet, and she's ready. So yeah, that's my opinion.
I hear what you're all saying, and I don't disagree with it. My question is, who'd you put her in with? Daz, I'll come to you, mate. You've got your finger on the pulse in the female world of boxing. I'll put that question to you, and the guys can answer if they want as well. Everyone's saying Caroline Dubois hasn't been tested. She's the IBO world champion. They're saying she hasn't been tested. She's just too good for the level of opponent she's been in with. Simple as that. But who'd you put her in with apart from a world champion?
Yeah, do it. World champion. You know, she's more than good enough. More than good enough.
There's only one belt that's free. There's only one belt that's free that currently isn't being held up by Katie Taylor.
Fight Katie Taylor then.
For sure.
Well, she can't, can she?
Katie Taylor.
She can't fight. She can't fight Katie Taylor because Katie Taylor's got fights lined up.
Yeah, but
And in the weight division above.
What about
Kind of-
Chantal Cameron next?
Dubois lightweight, right?
Yes.
Chantal Cameron, super lightweight, Carl.
Yeah.
What's the weight? What's the different weight class between them two? How many pounds we're talking?
Yeah, but why should she move up to super lightweight to get a fight when she's a lightweight fighter?
If there's nobody in division, like you're saying, it's not unique to move up a division, right?
Can I get in here?
You can.
Yeah, go on.
I think that the Matchroom is behind this. They when they had Beatrice Ferreira and Ryan Dixon for those titles, Katie released vacated those titles, but the other titles that Boxer is out for, they have kept those titles at lightweight for Katie Taylor and not vacated them. So that's for me is the reason that Matchroom had other fighters for the other titles, like I said. So we will wait and see when Katie will vacate the lightweight, the other lightweight titles. And I think Boxer has trying with this interim title that they hope that Caroline Dubois will be the full champion for WBC. That's what I think is the reason.
I'm worried for it all, Can. Just like Natasha Jonas, who's another boxer, female fighter who's sat around for a long time.
I mean, why can't she fight Ferreira?
Yeah, I didn't understand that. That fight was ordered by IBF.
Why? I mean, listen, she can fight Ferreira. She can fight winner of Dixon and Harper.
Yeah.
There's a girl who's got a good record. I'm not quite sure how good she is, though. Elizabeth Ashoba. I think she's 8-0 with 5 KOs.
I think she needs a high-profile name on her resume, don't she? So I'd go for an Harper.
Well, listen, if she's not going to get Taylor, then it needs to be Ferreira or winner of Dixon and Harper. Really?
It's likely it's likely to be the winner of Dixon Harper, but like if she's gonna fight, Cole's just said they're not getting fights. Well, she's got to fight, so she's got to defend her IBF title. She can't sit around waiting for other people to fight first.
Well, I mean,
she's got to fight. So they've made the fight.
A good fight will be Ferreira, I think.
Yeah, and that fight was ordered by IBF, and the Boxer didn't want to go to Perspit.
Listen, if you truly believe in your fighter, it doesn't matter, does it? You'll put them in. Do you know what I mean? Are they talking about Caroline Dubois? There shouldn't be any issue with putting her in with any lightweight in world.
I don't think for one second, Daz, I don't think for 1 second Caroline Dubois won't fight any lightweight on the planet. I don't think for 1 second.
Boxer.
Even Katie Taylor. I think she'd take her on tomorrow. And I think a team would as well. I think they've got that much confidence in her. Now, whether Boxer have is another matter.
Ben Shalom's just got to get the money out and get her a decent fight. As simple as, really.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
I don't really want to carry on down the Boxer theme, but has he ever got the money out when it comes to purse bids? Fair question.
No, we haven't. To be fair, he seems to be lacking with that. I mean, listen, I like Caroline Dubois. I'm very impressed with her, but she needs a big name or a good name in opposite corner. She can't keep knocking over these like almost unknowns. let her off at leash. I mean, yeah, she's not going to fight Katie. That's probably never good. That'll probably never happen. But listen, fight winner Dixon and Harper, or fight Ferreira.
The truth is now that the boxing public are being spoiled by Saudi fights, right? Where the best are fighting the best. So the days have gone. The days have gone.
Don't start me on Saudi.
I'm just talking from building a fighter's resume up. The days have gone where you can have 25, 30 gimme fights before people lose
Let's
interest.
be totally honest, mate. Let's be totally honest. I think where Saudi's concerned, the days of women's boxing are numbered.
Well, let's hope not.
Well,
I can share some big news that has come out.
Sandy Ryan and Michaela Meyer.
Yes.
I already knew.
I need
on the Top Rank show.
Screen for breaking news when it comes to Orkan, don't I? I need an alert.
It's rumored to be on the Top Rank show at the theater at the MSG.
27th of September.
Yes.
Good fight.
Yeah, it is. I mean, going back to the Saudi thing, I honestly, listen, I know you don't want to upset His Excellency, Carl, because accreditations in future. But listen, I'll say it as it is. The guy lives in a country where women are second-class citizens. The guy is not just living in a country where they're second-class citizens. The guy basically is one of the top people in this country. Let's be right as well. If you found to be gay in that country, it's been known up until 2 years ago that people have been stoned to death for being gay. So what chance has a gay female fighter got? And because let's be straight, no pun intended. Let's be right. A lot of female fighters are gay. And some very good fucking fighters as well. Do you know what I mean? So, Listen, I say honestly what I feel, and I just think that is also a nail in the coffin for women's boxing. We're going to get the fights that we all want to see between the males
at a price. So does.
Yeah, it is, and does it? I think a big indicator of he's not going to put women on is he could have put some big female fights on this Wembley card
and the US one.
Yeah, he could have put some massive fights on that, and he just hasn't. So that he set his stall out. If I'm honest.
I made my feelings.
What's your view on the Golden Boy and Top Rank sponsored by Riyadh Seasons?
Who, me?
All that. And regarding female boxing.
My cat's pestering me. He needs feeding.
Man, don't say he's looking at me.
I'm going to have to go shop and get some cat food and come back. So I'm going to, because I ran out before, I forgot to get it. So I'm gonna say goodbye. It's been lovely chatting with you all. And I'll see you next Thursday, yeah?
Cheers.
I've got to go 5 minutes as well. 5 minutes, I've got to go, man.
Yeah.
The question about this is that there are three female fights on the Golden Boy sponsored by Riyadh Seasons next weekend in Las Vegas, including Cecilia Brækhus versus Emma Cousin.
I don't think we're going to cover that one in 5 minutes, Orkan. So what I think we do is carry that over.
No, let's get onto the headliner. Yeah, let's get onto the headliner of this card.
Okay.
Cole, we're going to this show as we've already said. Let's get Darren's quick opinion of it, and then I'll come back to you on a question I've got. Darren, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here, mate. Yeah.
Give us your breakdown on who you think wins then quickly, as I know you've got to go. Callum Simpson versus Zach Shelley. Interesting fight, right?
Yeah, interesting fight. I mean, Zach Shelley's last fight, he had a good win against Jack Cullen. It's a good performance, but Jack Cullen, he was at the end. Really like Callum Simpson from what I've seen, and I like the build up to the fight, but I just think Callum Simpson, for where he's going to go, is going to be too much for Zach Shelley, and I think he could stop Zach Shelley late in the fight. But I think it'd be an interesting fight while it goes on.
Okay. Interesting one. Just before you go, mate. Interesting one. Callum Simpson's made it very clear for a number of years now he's wanted to fight at Oakwell. He's a massive Barnsley fan. Yeah. I believe everybody in the crowd is basically Barnsley fan season ticket holders. I don't even think these went on general sale. I think all of the season ticket holders got first refusal. Very strange that they're only opening one stand in the ground. Yeah. I believe the ring is being pushed up quite close to that stand. I don't know whether there's this pitch side seating. I'm assuming there will be ringside seats. Yeah. Very, very strange kind of setup. Feels a little bit rushed. I mean, great for Callum Simpson. It's great that he's fighting in front of his own fans, his own crowd. But what's your feeling on that as an outdoor fight? What's your feeling on venue?
I think Ben Shalom and Boxer love a stadium fight. I feel like they clutch at straws with them sometimes a little bit. I mean, the last one with Chris Billham-Smith and Reactor at Crystal Palace didn't really need to be a stadium. This fight doesn't really need to be at a stadium, but I feel like when they take these fighters on, it's sort of like in the contract, you'll be fighting at a stadium. So they sort of like clutch at straws and put a stadium fight on. It is part of the problem.
Part of the problem you've got. Part of the problem you've got, Darren, is Barnsley doesn't have a big arena. Its biggest arena holds about, I think 2,000 people thereabouts.
Yeah, I get that.
Which is not enough, is it, for this fight? So I think this is the 7,000 or so. Is it 7,000 or so for this fight?
Yeah, 7,000. Yeah. It is what it is. I understand.
I mean, what?
Go on, what you say?
No, I was just going to say, if it's in the, if that's what Boxer have had to do to get Callum Simpson to sign a contract, then they have to follow through, right?
Yeah, I get it. Like, I do believe. Well, it's a bit strange. Like, they seem to love a stadium fight. Like I say, the Crystal Palace one with Reactor and Billham-Smith. For the way they done that fight, they didn't. None of the top tiers were open. I don't know how many was there, 20,000, whatever. They could have done that in an indoor arena. So I do feel like they're sort of like taking fighters on and like having some clause in the contract where you'll be in a stadium fight or something like that, because they seem to love stadium fights. Like say this one Barnsley, I do get it, but 7,000, we like one stand open or whatever. I don't know how it's going to look, to be in all honesty, on TV. But I'm sure they'll make it look good.
Carl, my sources tell me that they could have sold this 7,000 seats. They could have sold it. My sources tell me, yeah. They could have sold this 7,000 seats over and over again, just on season ticket holders from Barnsley. Barnsley fans wanted this fight. Either Boxer have misread the interest in the fight, or I think I'm right in thinking this is the first time that Oakwell have had an event like this in the stadium. So is it potentially that it's the club that have put the restrictions on the amount of seats, that amount of tickets sold, rather than it being a Boxer problem?
Or it could be the local council, or it could be the local police. It could, as a guess, it's a club in combination with the local authority and the local police. Because any promoters are going to want to sell as many tickets as they can, right? But it is very strange.
You think so, wouldn't you?
It did go on sale a while ago, so they could, ticket sales would have been strong and it sold out quickly. So why not open more stands up? It's a bit peculiar, really. Yeah, I'm not on the inner circles, but that I'd hazard a guess it's a combination. First time they're having a boxing event at the club as well, so there may be some limitations there. Yeah, I'll suggest it wouldn't be boxing. I'd suggest it's probably the club in combination with the police and the local authority regarding licensing.
The likelihood is, I mean, I rate Callum Simpson very highly, and I think he's going places. He's much better than British level, and he'll prove that at the weekend.
Well, the strange thing for me is that Zach Chelly's a champion, yet he's having to travel to the challenger's back garden to fight to defend his title. I'd be asking boxers some strong questions if I was Zach Chelly. You know, Fulham fan. Why are they not looking at Craven Cottage? If this is the angle they want to go down, I'd be asking some. You know, this is almost set up for Callum to pick that belt up, right?
Lads, I'm gonna have to shoot.
Yeah, I've got to go as well.
Yeah,
Gaz, give us your quick opinion. Give us your quick opinion then.
I think Callum Simpson's going to win fairly comfortable on points. I think it's going to be a fairly comfortable points decision for him. I think he's proper going places. Chelly, you know, he's fit. He's very game. I think he carries a little bit of power as well, to be fair. So I don't think Simpson can take liberties with him, and I don't think he will. So I'm going for Callum quite handily on scorecards, to be fair.
Right, I've got to shoot off, guys. All right, see you later.
Cheers, Darren. Thanks, mate. Thanks for joining us.
See you later, guys. See you soon.
Håkan, give us your breakdown.
I think Callum Simpson wins this on a late stoppage. I think Callum Simpson is a little bit above Chelly, in my opinion. And a home fight in Barnsley could help him very much with all fans behind him.
We'll give you a wave, Håkan, when we're in the crowd, okay? We'll give you a wave on Saturday, so make sure you're watching your TV.
Yes.
Right, Cole, let's hear it. How do you see the fight plan?
Yeah, I think I've said before on this show that I think Zach Chelly's limited. Callum Simpson nowhere near the finished article. I suggest this shows where the super middleweight division is currently domestically. Poor division. So I think Callum Simpson will actually stop Zach Chelly. I'm going for round 10.
Yeah, I'm of a very similar opinion. Callum Simpson isn't the finished article, but he's showing signs that he's getting there, and like I've just said, he's better than this level, mate. He's a very, very good finisher. He doesn't waste shots. Zach Chelly's made for Callum Simpson because he's going to come at him, and Callum Simpson will pick him off. But like Daz said, Zach Chelly's a game fighter. He won't roll over, and he'll probably create problems that Callum's probably not seen. So for as long as it lasts, it'll be a very good fight. I actually think Callum Simpson deals with him a bit quicker than that. I think he gets him out of there round 7.
Interesting. Okay, on that note, we'll bring the show to a close, under. So, do you want me to see that?
You can do, yeah.
Okay, Håkan, thank you very much for joining, fella. Really
thank you.
Content. Thank you to Daz Ashton. Thank you to Darren Medcalf. Thank you to Jack and all the comments in the side. We're here every Thursday, 7 p.m. Platform for you to come and voice your boxing opinions. If you watch this on repeat, post your comments in the comments box below, and I'll always reply, or Andy will. This has been Last Bell Boxing, proudly sponsored by LW Lifting Limited and SC Travel Limited. Like I said, same time next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. Keep an eye out for some content from Barnes over the weekend. We'll see you next week.